Berkshire Hathaway's philosophy and intuition. Can you duplicate intuition? Can you duplicate intuition? Like, does Trump's kids have the intuition of the father? You know, can Obama teach intuition to his kids? Can Elon Musk teach intuition to his 4 or 5 kids? You cannot teach intuition. So Berkshire Hathaway is an interesting place right now because 90 years old, listen, I mean, people are sitting there saying, we love this guy, but you're 90 years old. Charlie Munger is a little older as well. They did the shareholder meeting in L.A. for a reason. Typically, they do it in Omaha, but they did it in L.A. because of Charlie Munger. So they didn't do the meeting in the typical place that they do it for decades, right?
Why, because you couldn't travel or what?
Well, I mean, it's just, you know, concerns, COVID, safer, much better if we do it here.
95 years old.
Yeah, I mean, you understand it, right? So, but the bigger question to ask is, are they going to be able to continuously beat S&P 500? It's not been a last few-year run. I mean, he had a good run in 2000s or 1990s or 80s, but there's a difference between 80s, 90s, and 2000s. And today, by the way, he's the biggest shareholder of Apple. These are the companies they own today. American Express, biggest shareholder. Apple, B of A, Charter Communication, Coca-Cola, Chevron, GM, Merck, Moody's, U.S. Bancorp, Verizon, you know, and he's very careful with technology. He barely got into Apple, like he was, you know, always negative about what technology is going to do.
Not bullish on Bitcoin.
Yeah, like for example,
all.
I'll give you an idea. Like right now, baseball cards. Okay, I don't know if you guys have been following any of the baseball cards. If you want to put it up, crazy story on what happened. You heard when I sold my Gretzky for $1.3 million, 2 of them for $2 million. They're like, oh my gosh, sold 2 cards for $2 million. Okay, on Luka Doncic's birthday, go to the other one I sent you. Luka Doncic, he's 22 years old.
Crazy.
His rookie card just sold for $4.6 million.
That's wow.
It's the second most expensive card ever sold. He's never won a championship. He's never won an MVP. He's 22 years old. He even said himself in an interview, I'd like to own some of my own cards because millions are being made. He doesn't make money on these cards. He just got a contract. Pay me some of these millions of dollars, right? Go lower to show the card what it looks like. Do you have the picture of the card? If you go up, it's, okay, they don't have it here. Go to the other one. Go to, no, the other one I sent you. This guy right here, he bought Mickey Mantle's PSA 10 card for $5.2 million. Look at the top. $5.2 million. The guy's holding the card right there.
Wow. Who is this guy? How does he have $5 million?
I mean, he paid $5.2 million for this card.
We need to sell him a luxury house ASAP.
So watch what happened here. Watch what happened here. Go to NBA Top Shot. Okay, I don't know if you guys have been following this or not. Okay, so look at the reaction of everybody. Okay, people have spent more than $230 million buying and trading digital collectibles on NBA highlights. A recent highlight, okay, go on YouTube to show one of the highlights. It's a video you buy for $300,000. Okay, like, yes, exactly. Let me just show it to you. It's a card? Type in NBA highlights, NFT, put LeBron. Just put LeBron, yeah, LeBron. Let's see if it shows. One of them just sold for 300. Okay, say the same thing you typed in, put it in Google. Same thing you typed in, put it in Google. Okay, and I'm going to get to my Buffett points here because it has to do $230,000. No, there's one that just sold for, oh, right there. Click on the second one. LeBron James highlight video just sold for $270,000. Guys, it's a 6-second video. Go down. It's a 6-second video. Okay, if they have the video to show, go a little lower. Let's see if they got it. You guys got to see this here. Go lower. Okay, they don't have it. Anyways, it's a 6-second video of him dunking. You buy it. You own the crypto highlight for $230,000. $230 million has already been put into this. This is brand spanking new that just got started. So it's not cryptocurrency. It's crypto collectible cards and videos, okay? So now watch this. I'm being interviewed. Guys ask me a question because, you know, it's a collectible card, genius guy. And this last week I spoke to guys that run the biggest auction and a new thing called Rally. Put Rally RD. I think it's a Rally RD. You can officially buy stocks of cards. Go to Rally RD. I think this is the one. You buy stocks of cards.
I like this.
They bought my Wayne Gretzky card. They bought it for $720,000, one of them. They have it on there right now for $800,000. You can buy a share for $12.
Love it.
Oh my God.
Love it.
Genius idea.
Yes.
Okay. And by the way, they don't just do it with cards. They do with paintings. They do with artwork. They do. He's going to
Rally.
come in down next month. We'll have a conversation with him. Rally.
Great idea.
Genius idea.
Rally's a platform for buying and selling equity shares in
Collectibles.
assets. Wow.
Any kind of collectibles. Artwork, painting,
Awesome
statue.
idea.
Genius idea.
If you're like, look, I'm not trying to drop 200 grand on a baseball card.
Sure.
Cool. Put
But
in
I'll
10
buy-
grand and you get a portion of a Zion Williamson.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. So now,
You in on that?
Democratizing things that only the super rich used to have access to. Right?
exactly.
Artwork. I own 2% of a Picasso.
What you just said is exactly how they sell it. What you just said is exactly how they sell it, right? So now, what does this have to do with Buffett? Here's what it has to do with Buffett. The guy asked me a question. He says, so what do you think is going to go up and what do you think is going to go down? You think the physical cards are going to be bigger or you think these crypto NFT type of stuff is going to be bigger? I said, the benefit I have is I'm 42 years old. Is I'm young enough to remember, I'm old enough to know the value of cards when it was 30 years ago when we collected them, and it's emotional to me. But I'm young enough to be logical to know this crypto stuff that you're seeing that's ridiculous to Warren Buffett, it's going to take off. This is going to take off. The challenge with Buffett is there an age where you hit where some of the philosophies and the risks that you took you no longer will take to outgrow S&P 500? I don't know. That's the challenge. Because remember, you're not buying a physical product. You're buying the man's mind. And he's 90 and the other one is 95. So is Berkshire Hathaway going to continue growing after Buffett? What do you think?
Well, I think they clearly have to have an exit strategy or a succession plan in place. It's not like, God forbid, Warren Buffett dies this week. They're like, what do we do now? Oh my God. They're like, our leaders are in their 90s. They're like the two guys in like the Muppet up in the crowd, like the old guys yet, like they have a succession plan in place, clearly. Like we're not, I wouldn't overthink this. I would assume that they have a plan in place and they understand that they need to.
Do you know my question though? My question is, can you teach intuition?
No, I mean, you give the example of like Tony Robbins' son is trying to go out there and give speeches and you're just like, oh, sorry, buddy. Like,
Michael
you
Jordan's
don't
son
got
tried
it.
playing
Exactly.
basketball.
Like, I don't think Don Jr. has what Trump has. Maybe a little bit. Eric certainly doesn't. Ivanka, maybe a little bit. Tiffany, no. Wait, we'll see what Barron stock is at. But the point is, you can't teach intuition. You can't teach what you're talking about. So, but Berkshire Hathaway,
What do you
think
think?
is
I
legit.
think there's a philosophy, right? And you either have intuition, charisma, your own set of beliefs and values and experiences, and people follow you for whatever reason they want to follow you, right? But with the succession plan, if philosophy of a company worked out for decades based on Warren Buffett's values and beliefs of investing, then you have to find someone who has a similar philosophy but also dares to look at new ways for growth opportunities, such as Walmart looking into FinCEN. And I think it's extraordinary what you just said, in that you have to be old enough to be wise and experienced, but you have to be young enough to know that things are changing. I mean, just look at after the advent of Google, the whole world has changed, right, since 2002 or 3.
This is why they're saying that Chamath Palihapitiya is sort of the new school Warren Buffett. You heard this analogy? People have been making this analogy a lot. Do you know who this is? Chamath?
Pull
him up. Just maybe she's recognized as.
He's a very successful. He's a part small owner of Golden State Warriors. He was an early investor in Facebook, I believe, and he's a billionaire. He's and an
Remember that face. We're gonna sell him a $25 million house. I get a 10% referral
No, I
fee.
think with him we can sell him a $40 million
No,
house.
you could actually.
That's not a problem.
And he would actually do it.
What's his net worth? Probably a
He's
bill or
and
two?
a half. I think he's a $1 or $2 billion guy. Is he two? He's $1 billion guy.
What does your net worth need to be, Senada, to buy a $20 million house? You need to be worth $100 million, $200 million, like for a $20 million house.
Yeah, in the 10%.
So if someone's
range.
looking at a $20 million house, like all right, this person's worth,
Yeah, you have to be worth at least I would say 200
10x.
million, unless
10x your
exactly
house.
10x, unless you decide to have not just mortgage, but like some people use asset-based loans to
Gotcha.
finance if they feel very strongly the value of the house is going to, if they consider it as an investment rather than just a place to live.
So if you're looking at $1 million house, do you have to have a net worth of 100,000? Is the same rules? You need to have less?
A
more,
little
what?
bit different rules,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's because I will say huge majority, I was going to say 99% of people looking at ultra luxury real estate are all paying cash.
Cash.
So
25
cash
million
is
plus.
king,
Boom.
and yeah, but for people who are looking at $1 million property, most of them are actually looking to finance. So that's why it's so different. You only need 20% to put down rather than, being 10x.
Okay.
So are you optimistic long-term Berkshire Hathaway or no?
I'm not betting against Warren Buffett.
No. But wait a minute. I didn't say Warren Buffett.
You see how I got diplomatic there?
I know you did.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
You're optimistic.
I believe that he has imparted enough wisdom and knowledge and principles on the people that will be taking over, because I don't remember the gentleman's name, but we talked about who the next man up was. But I believe that they are, like you said, old enough to understand the past, but young enough to move with the times.
What do you think, Senada? Long-term Berkshire. Are you long Berkshire Hathaway or short?
That's a tough one, particularly knowing what we just discussed. I'm long-term because of the sheer size and ability to move through whatever the market's going to bring.
And just
I'm
look at the
long-term.
companies that, if you're the biggest investor in Apple, I'm riding with you. Straight up. Coca-Cola.
No, and the thing is, obviously, I think it's going to take a hit once one or both of them passes away, just emotionally, because people are going to be like, all right, I'm out. However, he has said multiple times, the companies that have been chosen in the past are such value companies that he's said, like, essentially a ham sandwich can run them, because they're so staple companies that don't require a lot. And if those are the ones they own, then I think those will stay valuable long term. But however, the question is, will they be able to pick new companies like that? That's where the issue is going to be.
Well, that's the processor of somebody. So look, how many things you're seeing right now where the math makes zero sense, like the typical formula of that was used 20, 30 years ago doesn't apply today.
But he was the same way during the stock boom.
What do you mean?
The dot-com bubble. Like he's pulled out of the market because he says the market doesn't make sense.
Well, why don't you go to Berkshire Hathaway stock? Go to Berkshire Hathaway stock history of it. Let's take a look at that. Berkshire Hathaway stock history. It still looks very good. I think it's at 350,000, 377,000 right now per share. Look at that. It's gone up. Will it continue going up post Buffett? That's the question. That if you want to buy one share right now, you're spending $377.
Wow.
To buy one share, A share. B share is like $300, but if you want to buy an A share right now, $377,000 a share. And one share is $377,000. You gotta love that, though. Hey, we're not doing splits. We're not doing anything. You want a share? Spend that $377, and people
Where is that
do.
Where is that on the most expensive stocks?
It's
A share. Is that the preeminent number one?
Yeah, it's the most expensive stock.
They've never done a split. They've never done anything like that.
They tell you, you want it, spend that $377, and then you'll be invited to the shareholder meeting that they're having. Can you imagine? But everybody that goes there owns at least one share.
But here, back to your point with that rally, if you want to own a percentage of a stock, and there's companies out there like Stockpile and things like that where you can have.
One guy gave
Buffett
$10,000 back in 1974. This guy was a small, the story we talked about it. That $10,000 he left it, never touched it, is worth $780 today.
Wow.
Never touched the money.
So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.